So last week I posted a video talking about what I believe is the most useful time control for chess improvement. Now, in this video, I want to talk about the 4 time controls: bullet, blitz, rapid, and classical, and how they differ in the skills that you both need to get better at these games, but also the skills that you're training, or maybe the things that are bad habits that you're learning through playing these 4 time controls. So let's start with bullet. Bullet really isn't that much of a serious time control for me, and I believe many agree. It's more just an adrenaline rush. It's a lot about flagging the opponent. It's a lot about easy tricks. You might have seen people, just on purpose hanging pieces just because they think that you pre-move. So it has a lot of meta skills in there. From a chess perspective, it really is extreme intuition, right? And extremely short calculations, or like, is this piece hanging? No, let's move the piece there, right? And it usually happens in split seconds or in seconds. So the training that goes into this is things like puzzle rush, extremely easy tactics, but quick, and trying to improve your intuition. The problem with bullet for a lot of levels, all the way up to masters, is that you're just learning bad habits when you play bullet, right? You're just moving at a speed where you can't fully control that you're not hanging stuff. And so when you go away from bullet and go into other time controls, you will bring that with you. And I've seen that with many students when they had like bullet binges. It's just so hard to get rid of these habits. So bullet is kind of like, okay, this is just, super adrenaline rush, pure fun. But be aware that if you do it too much, you will bring bad habits into other time controls. The second time control I want to talk about is blitz. And this already gets a bit more serious. I've played a lot of blitz in my career when I was young already. Not that much online, but over the board with friends. And I did learn some things from it. So what goes into playing blitz? Like, blitz essentially is just your intuition, okay, plus very short tactical calculation. And it really enforces that kind of 1 or 2 move deep calculation on every single move. And as you have a little bit more time than bullet, and hopefully you're playing with increment, right? So you're playing maybe 3+2, 5+2, something like that. You do have time to shortly check that you're not making kind of egregious mistakes. But still, the lower the time control is, the more it pushes you towards taking risks and playing unsound chess. So in blitz also, people that play very unsound openings, but they just try to attack, they try tricks, they try to, go for like gambits from YouTubers and so on. This is reinforced in blitz because it does work. Your opponent doesn't really have that much time to figure out why your moves aren't as sound, and so they can still work. Training that helps blitz is like puzzle rush, very easy tactics again, knowing the basic theory, because in blitz your opponent is not going to be prepared for you, right? So having the same repertoire and trying always the same thing kind of works, because you're playing online against a pool of players and they don't really, as mentioned, have time to process why a certain move you play maybe isn't the best. So kind of like easy setups. You see a lot of even grandmasters go for the London system because they know where to put their pieces. You can move faster. But there is 2 sides to it, right? So one side you can say, yeah, I can train easier tactics and improve my intuition to play blitz. But again, if you're playing a lot of blitz, you're also going to work on your intuition. But often, especially with adult improvers, especially with amateur players, that can backfire, because you're playing so many games that you're building up intuition, but not with good teaching, not on, sound strategic advice, but just by playing so many games. I've seen this, for example, with my dad. He was around 1500 at his peak, FIDE rated, and he would play a lot of blitz games, and it went to a point where he didn't really analyze his games, and he would misremember openings. He just played it for so many times that he thought, well, this is the opening, right? He would, misunderstand certain ideas because he just over and over did the same thing in blitz. So when you still have a lot of wrong habits and not the right way of thinking about chess, actually playing a lot of blitz will, carve that into your intuition, and then you will have a lot of work taking that out of the intuition again. But if you want to play better blitz, don't worry about long calculations or like deep strategic ideas. That's not what happens in blitz. It's really just like, okay, get a kind of a certain feel for a position, getting into positions that you know. So if you like, for example, playing against the isolated queen pawn, get a lot of positions in your repertoire to play against the isolated queen pawn. You can have a very narrow understanding of chess, kind of driving the game into the same kind of fields and then trying to take it from there. Be quick, play with increment, make sensible moves, but don't have big expectations as to how deep your thinking is, and then you can get better at blitz. Now on to rapid. Rapid is kind of a good middle ground for me. That's why I also, in the video that I mentioned last week, I shared that for me, this is the best way to improve your chess skills because it has a little bit of everything. It's not so long as a classical game, so it just takes, hours. But it's also not as quick as blitz. So in rapid, you kind of you pair your intuition with small calculations, but also with chess understanding. You do have moments, especially if you play like 15+10 rapid games, right? You do have moments where you can think for 3, 4, 5 minutes. You can go deeper, especially if you realize, oh, this is super concrete, right? I need to get deep here and really find the right solution. So yes, the right thought process matters. Things like decision-making starts mattering more. It's not just about not hanging pieces. And especially if you, for example, hate people playing, the same traps and gambits and so on against you, this starts to be the point where, yes, it does still matter if you have the initiative. But if somebody does something unsound, you have enough time to actually refute that. And that's what many, blitz and bullet specialists realize, that the longer the time control goes, their repertoire, their ideas, their kind of quick tricking, their, oh, my opponent might miss this, is not going to work that much anymore. So especially if you're kind of frustrated by losing against quick tricks and so on, this is really the time control where you can have enough time to refute things that are objectively speaking not correct. And if you always go for these tricks, but you want to start playing more rapid, then you need to play a little bit more sound. And then comes classical chess. This is where everything gets together and you play at your highest level, usually because you have the time to not only just check for quick threats, but go a little bit deeper, to compare certain lines, to compare certain positions, take time to evaluate positions and be like, yeah, but there I have a weakness and then this other line I don't. And so let's go for the line where I don't have a weakness. So training involves more deeper thinking, calculation exercises, 10, 15 minutes for one position. What are you going to play? Maybe you have to see 3, 4 moves deep. Then you see a refutation. You move on to another line. Then at some point, you've seen many different lines. What are you doing now? How do you compare these lines? How do you evaluate each of these lines? How do you make a smart decision? There's also one thing that is not often spoken about, but that students really feel, is that when you're starting to play more over the board, and most over the board tournaments really still are classical chess, the focus of your opponents is going to be higher, right? So it's way different to sit at home and play some rapid or blitz or even classical chess online with all the distractions going on of your life, or to travel somewhere, sit down at a board, having no devices and just fully focus on chess. So automatically, when you're playing over the board, in general, the level rises already quite a bit just by the fact that you don't have distractions and your opponent doesn't have distractions. So it's going to be more nuanced. But what some people do is to overcorrect this, right? I see, let's say 1,500 rated players going to play over the board and they think, oh, now it's only about depth. Now it's only about chess understanding. Now it's only about finding the sophisticated plan that my opponent doesn't see. And what happens? They miss a quick calculation and they lose the game due to a simple threat. So instead of kind of saying, oh, I let go of the quicker calculation and I only do the deep thing, it's kind of building up everything, right? You want to look at the threats. You want to see if you have anything that wins a piece or whatever. But often in classical chess, you get to that point and you're like, okay, no. And in quicker time controls, you just gotta make a move, right? Okay, something that's good enough, let's go. And in classical chess, now you enter a new stage. Now you enter the stage of like, okay, deeper understanding of the position. Are there any positional ideas I could go for? Are there any piece maneuvers I can look at, right? Are there any deeper threats from my opponent? Maybe it's not a tactical threat, but maybe they plan to maneuver their knight to a good square and I can stop it, right? Now in classical chess, you have time for these things, but it's important that you first do what you usually also do in quicker time controls, but you're not just automatically moving. That's also what we talked about, the habit that is happening, right? You're used to looking at a move, seeing it looks decent, and just going. In classical chess, you're playing too quick. With kids, we often as coaches say that they could sit on their hands because they are used to brain things, oh, looks good, let's just do it. No, you think, okay, is it actually good? Did I miss something? Is there something better? Things like evaluation get more important. Things like deeper calculation get more important. When you train, you want to train 10, 15 minutes on one single position because that's what you can do as well in a classical game. And especially in our hyper-connected world, and what many people underestimate is there are a lot of non-chess things that start, making a big difference in playing classical chess. What I talk about is how you sleep. Is how well you're able to focus, right? Are you used just to constant scrolling on your phone, constant dopamine hits? Then classical chess is going to feel so difficult for you because you're sitting in front of the chessboard, no distraction for like a few hours, right? So it's really where everything starts playing a bigger role. It's why it is the time control most people, care about when they are a lot into chess. And it is also the time control that, paired with rapid, that my advice stands for, right? The deeper thinking, real chess training, right? My membership where every week you get 45 minutes for 6 positions. That makes sense if you're trying to play rapid, if you're trying to play classical. By the way, there is a link in the description below. You can have a free sample test of that membership. So these things start to make sense when you actually have the time, right? When we start talking about, mindset things, but also start talking about nutrition during a game, right? If you play a blitz game, who cares? You don't drink, you don't eat, doesn't matter. If you play for 4 hours, maybe you need to start thinking, okay, if I just don't drink and don't eat anything in 4 hours, my brain might not work anymore. It's really where I see, the, sport of chess that has been so interesting for me. It's where all these things start to play a bigger role. Oh, and one thing that I nearly forgot that is a big difference in classical chess, especially over the board, starts to become the preparing against an opponent. Okay, so there will be a factor at some point where your opponent sees your games and before a game can see, okay, what are they playing? Right? And how can I play against it? And that's kind of a completely new factor that doesn't exist in online chess unless you're playing a league game, right? If you play these like League Chess 45 leagues and so on, there is also a little bit of this. But that just means that if you're playing, super unsound openings, which might work in Blitz because nobody can prepare against you, they don't remember it. If somebody has a full day to think about, okay, I can just switch on the engine and see why this line is not working. And I just need to memorize it and to play against this person. It's not going to work anymore. So playing a little bit more sound starts paying off more. It doesn't mean that you need 15 different openings so your opponent can't prepare anymore. That's overdoing it. But if you're having one opening, just look that it's not going to be like, oh, if my opponent knows these 3 moves, I'm having a really bad position. That's not great. Now let's talk about a few takeaways that are very important from this video. Number 1 is just be aware what is your main time control that you care about. And some people say, well, it's all of them. No, it can't be all of them, right? Pick one. Very often people that play over the board chess, they say their over the board rating is what they care about. Okay, so these are the skills that in your training you want to build up. And when you hear an advice from someone, shortly think like, is this advice for the time control and obviously for the rating that I am at? Point number 2 is you can also think of these time controls as a little bit different ratings in a certain sense. And the longer the time control, the higher your rating will be, right? So if you're maybe 1700 in classical chess, right? Your rapid rating in comparison would be maybe 1500, right? no matter what it is on the platform. But the idea is that what matters in your rapid game is maybe what matters for a 1500 rated classical player. What matters in your blitz game starts to be maybe what matters for a 1300 classical player, right? So you start to lower the barrier of what you're actually looking at if you just shorten the time control. And this is a good way to think about it because it kind of makes it obvious, okay, I can't look for the same kind of ideas when I play shorter time controls. I just need to reduce my expectations, focus really on the basics, what I would teach someone a little bit lower rated than me, and then execute that in a shorter time control. And point number 3 is be aware that some skills that you're learning with one time control might interfere with another. That's normal, and you might feel that. It's not as extreme, but kind of the same idea as the 100-meter sprinter is not going to have the same muscles and same skills and same body as the marathon runner, right? So if you are training a lot for blitz and then you have an over-the-board game, well, you might act a little bit rash and quickly and you're not taking the time. That's just part of the trade-off, right? The other way around works as well. If you have, classical games and you're usually, taking a lot of time in your exercises, you always think like, okay, let's look at the threads, look at the ideas, what can I do? And then you suddenly say, oh yeah, let's play blitz with a friend. You're probably ending up in time trouble or feeling super stressed because you've never trained the skills of like moving quickly, speeding up that whole process, right? And last but not least, in our quickly moving world, I believe a lot of people are in it for the kind of quick improvements and the adrenaline rush, which is bullet and blitz. So if you are focusing more on rapid and classical, and if you watch this video until here, I do believe so. That's also what I make content about, right? Just be aware that a lot of things that you're going to see online, if not specifically specified, might be just some quick hack that might work in bullet or blitz, right? Talk about the opening traps, but it is not going to work for you. And that's very important just to be aware of it, because otherwise you're using advice that would work for another time control doesn't work at all for yours. And the advice wasn't maybe bad or not correct. It just wasn't specified enough that it doesn't work for what you want to achieve. That's all I have to say. As I mentioned, there's a link in the description to get a free sample test from Real Chess Training if you want to do the difficult work that improves your rapid and classical game chess skills. That's where you can head. See ya in the next one.